Hi everyone, it's Fredy here. Today, I want to talk about why public transportation is the most eco-friendly choice in Europe. Europe is known for its extensive public transport networks, but how much impact does it really have on the environment and your wallet? Let's break down the numbers and look at some surprising statistics to see why using public transport is one of the best ways to reduce your carbon footprint and travel smarter. Let's start with the environment benefits. According to the European Environment Agency, the transport sector is responsible for around 30% of total CO2 emissions in Europe, and 72 of these emissions come from road transport alone. By using public transport, we can significantly reduce these emissions. A single metro or train trip produces just 20% of the emissions of the same trip made by car. And in cities with fully electric bus fleets, the emissions drop even further, almost reaching zero. Have you thought about how many emissions you could save by choosing public transport over your car just a few times a week? Next time, instead of driving, consider taking the metro or bus. You will cut emissions by up to 80% for the same distance traveled. Did you know road transport is responsible for 72% of Europe's CO2 emissions? A metro trip produces just 20 of a car's emissions. Why not switch? Now let's talk about costs. Owning a car in Europe is expensive. Did you know that the average annual cost of owning a car in Germany is around 5,500, including fuel, insurance, maintenance, and taxes? And that's for a small or a mid-sized vehicle. In countries like Denmark or Norway, the cost can little bit up from 8,000 to 10,000 euro annually, mainly due to higher registration taxes and insurance premiums. Let's break down. For a small car in Germany, you are looking at around 1,500 euro for fuel, 1,000 for insurance, 500 for maintenance and repairs, and over 3,000 in taxes and depreciation. Would you rather spend 6,500 to 10,000 a year or switch to a public transit pass that costs just 500 to 1,500 annually in most European cities? Plus, taking public transport allows you to avoid traffic, relax, or even catch up on work. It's a financial win and a productivity boost. Owning a car in Europe can cost up to 10,000 a year. A yearly public transit pass, just 500 to 1,500. Why pay more? In major European cities like Paris, London, or Berlin, traffic congestion is a growing issue. The average driver in European spends around 36 hours a year stuck in traffic. That's more than a day wasted each year just sitting and burning fuel. And it is not just time. Every extra hour spent in traffic means higher emissions, more stress, and lost productivity. In London alone, traffic congestion is estimated to cost the economy over 5 billion euro annually. Have you ever found yourself frustrated, stuck in a traffic jam, and thought, there's got to be a better way? Public transport can cut the number of cars on the road, making cities greener, safer, and more livable. Next time you are considering driving during rush hour, why not hop on the metro instead? The average driver in Europe wastes 36 hours a year in traffic. Public transport means less traffic and more green space. Ready to switch? One challenge for public transport in Europe is accessibility. In some cities, the network is dense and efficient, like in Zurich or Vienna, but in others, it can be unreliable and inconvenient. A good public transport system is one that is frequent, reliable, and accessible to all citizens, including those with disabilities. Unfortunately, many older European cities face challenges with accessibility and maintaining infrastructure. Investments in new, low-floor trams, fully accessible stations, and increased service frequency are crucial to making public transport the first choice for everyone. Does your city have a good public transport network? What would make it better for you? Cities that invest in accessible and reliable networks see higher public transport usage, which benefits everyone through reduced congestion and emissions. Public transport should be reliable and accessible to everyone. Does your city invest enough in making it work? Public transport in Europe is evolving rapidly. Many cities are investing in fully electric bus fleets, expanding metro lines, and even experimenting with hydrogen powered trains. In Oslo, Norway, the city aims to have a 100% zero emissions public transport fleet by 2028. And it is not just buses. The European Union is funding projects for autonomous shuttles, hyperloop systems, and even smart traffic management to make public transport more efficient and appealing. Can you imagine your city being fully electric with zero emissions transport? With continued investments and support, Europe could be leading the world in green transport innovation by 2030. Electric buses, hydrogen trains, and smart shuttles. Europe's public transport future is looking green. Is your city ready? That's why public transportation is the most eco-friendly choice in Europe. It reduces emissions, saves you money, cuts traffic, and could soon be fully zero emission in many cities. But for it to work, we need better infrastructure and more people choosing public transport over cars. What's your experience with public transport in Europe? Let me know in the comments. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next video.